2022. How did we get here already? I'm so excited to be taking us into 3 more incredible sessions today to deep dive you and fast track that journey of you making all these painful mistakes on your own. Like, how many of you just want to fast track? Give me a hashtag fast track. If you just want to fast track your journey, why would you want to go through all the pain and the mistakes of learning things that other people have already learned before you and come back and share? I have to say, before we go on to day 2, I've had some really amazing conversations with people today. I've had people that have reached out from the One Drop Movement group to say how each one of the speakers yesterday shifted them in some way. So, for example, spoke to the lovely Drusilla today. I want to say hello to Drusilla if you're tuning in. And Drusilla said, you know, I really resonated with what Wendy was talking about. And in fact, I had another conversation with someone who also said, I really resonated with what Wendy said about just wanting to hide and not wanting to be visible. So it just goes to show you, doesn't it, that you may never know the influence or the impact that you have unless somebody verbalizes it to you and lets you know. But just know that every single thing that you do and everything that you say, and even in the things that you don't say but you do, you are having an effect, a ripple effect. You're having an impact on lives. So my darlings, just keep speaking up, keep shining, because you just never know who's listening. You never know who you're making an impact on, that they're just not telling you. They're just not telling you that they've been impacted in that way, but just know that you are. So a massive shout out to our 3 speakers from last night. We've got another incredible lineup for you tonight. Now, for those of you that have joined today, I want to put a big shout out and say hello to all of you that are joining the One Drop Movement community. And maybe this is your first RippleFest. Maybe you're joining RippleFest for the first time. So I'm wishing you a big welcome to this growing global family. We've had another 2 new members joining our Ripple Makers Mastermind today. I'm really excited to welcome in 2 new members. We had another member join yesterday, and we've had about 5 or 6 new members joining the Mastermind just in the last 7 days. And so I want to just put a big shout out to each and every one of you that are coming and joining us to mastermind with us every day, to get the help and the support that you need to grow forward, and to say, do you know what, it's worth investing in myself so that I collapse the amount of time it takes me to learn all these painful mistakes. Why should I go and learn them when you can just tell me what's the easiest way to go do this and grow my business? So I just want to thank each and every one of you for recommending us to your friends. Those of you that have joined recently, I know Nadine, who's joining us on the global stage this evening, has only been a member for over a week, and my goodness, the change that we've seen in Nadine is amazing. And here she is just 1 week later here to share her story. So don't worry if you've missed any of the sessions, whether you've missed previous RippleFests, if you missed yesterday, just simply go to the guides section within the One Drop Movement Facebook group, and you'll find the last 2 summits are in there. So you go meet our speakers, go get some experience and some lessons from them, and of course enjoy the summit that you're on for the next couple of days. This is RippleFest 23. So we've been doing this now the last week of every month for 23 months. So next month is going to be our 2-year. Can you believe that? We're coming up to our 2-year anniversary, which is phenomenal. Really proud and honored that we have been able to impact so many thousands of ripple makers over this last few years. So my darlings, we are growing, we're expanding, and so are you. But as you grow and expand, one of the most important things that you can do is to constantly expand yourself. And we've talked about this on previous RippleFest before. If you think of yourself like an arrow, so yeah, you might think, oh my God, this is an hour every night for 3 nights. Where am I going to get this hour from? But seriously, when you pull yourself back to go in, it's like pulling that arrow back. And what happens when you create tension? What happens when you pull back? When you let go, you propel forward at an accelerated speed, way faster than if you just continue to plod along. So I want to applaud you for being here and making this time for yourself. Give me a hashtag arrow if you are ready to propel yourself forward. So we have another great lineup of incredible Ripple makers, influencers, brand builders coming to go deeper with us this evening and give us the benefit of their experience. And really, this is the perfect opportunity for you to learn from all of their hard-won lessons. I mentioned a little while ago about that. Well, they've been through a lot of things, and maybe you haven't been through them yet, or maybe you have, but unconsciously you're repeating a pattern, and somebody will say something today and you'll go, oh my God, that's the thing. Right? And some of you will be here and you don't even know why you're here, but it will be revealed, because then you go, that thing I just learned, that was worth every minute of my time. Right? So give me a hashtag ready to grow if you're ready to grow further, if you're ready to grow yourself. Because if you ever outgrow your business, that's when your business will stop growing. So we must, as entrepreneurs and CEOs of our business, CEOs of our destiny, we must continue to grow ourselves so that our business continues to grow and we continue to grow that legacy beyond us. So whether you're tuning in for the replay or you are joining us live right now, please do get involved as you hear the speakers this evening. When they say something, commit it to the comments. Put hashtags in, just those light bulb moments. If you have a hashtag moment, then put a hashtag next to it, so that, or a light bulb moment, put hashtag light bulb, so that we get to really share in that light bulb moment with you. Just remember to tell us what that light bulb is so that we can celebrate it with you. Otherwise, when we watch it back and it says, you know, Jackie commented at 17 minutes into the session and she said, wow, we have no idea what you're wowing about. So just tell us what you're wowing about or what those light bulbs are. So remember, before we get stuck into our amazing speakers today, I love to give away prizes. I love to give away prizes. Who wants to win some prizes? Give me a hashtag prizes if you want to come and win some prizes. I've got several prizes. I'm actually drinking out of one of the prizes. You'll get a new one, don't worry. A Ripple Maker mug. Who's going to join me having a cup of tea with a Ripple Maker mug? Give me a hashtag mug if you want to win a Ripple Maker mug. We've got our Ripple Maker charm bracelet. Beautiful. This is made by me. So my mum makes the one drops and I make the bracelets. It's just one of the things that I do because I enjoy doing it. It's good downtime for me, but it also means that whenever I send one of these out, I always do a meditation and I program in to that one drop all of the things that you really desire to have. And so I program that in. So who wants to win a charm bracelet? Give me a hashtag charm if you want a charm bracelet. And what about winning an hour of power with me? Imagine if I could work for 1 whole hour on your business. Imagine where you'd be after that. That really is for those of you that want to get shit done. Okay, like we spend an hour together just on your business and get you going, really get you underway. You will be getting shit done. Give me a hashtag get shit done if you want to win an hour of power with me. Well, it's very simple. All you need to do to win an hour of power or to win a mug or a charm bracelet is to invite people to come and join this global community. I can't grow without you. And you can't grow without the support of other people around you. So let's bring more people into this growing global community. Let's do this. Remember, RippleFEST and One Drop movement is all about individually we're one drop, but together we're the ocean. And I know at least one person who might be a great person to introduce to you. And you know at least one great person that you can introduce to me. So invite just one person. If each and every one of us invited one more person to come and join this community, we'd be literally doubling the opportunities that you have to connect and collaborate with other Ripple makers from all over the world. But you've got to be in it to win a prize though. So all I'm asking you to do, once you invite your business friends to come in and join us, if you know especially any businesses that are in those first stages that really need that little bit of extra support, invite them in. Invite them to come and join us. When they do join the group, just make sure that you tag them in. I'm just going to share my screen very quickly to show you exactly where to go. So let me just share my screen for you. Because when they come into the group, so click on One Drop Movement And when they come into the group, if you click on featured at the top there, you'll see all of the featured posts. And there's one called new members, welcome to One Drop Movement. So all you've got to do is go in here and type in welcome and then the name of the person. I'm going to type in Krishna. I'm going to find Krishna. So welcome, Krishna. And that's all I want to see. So if you keep it all under that thread, then I think that will make it nice and tidy, much easier. And then I'll be able to see how many of you have invited and welcomed in new members into the community. The more members you bring in, the bigger the prize gets. Okay, so get inviting. So we are going to kick off with our very first global Ripple Maker. Now, when she joined the Ripple Makers Mastermind, really the conversation that we had was about working with the business park that was next to where she lives, right? Because that was an easy thing to do. But now Krishna is thinking much bigger than that. So we're going to have Krishna join us now. We're going to then hear from Nadine Lewis, and then we've got Mr. Murrell in the house to come and join us. So we're going to kick off with the lovely Krishna. Now, what I love about Krishna is she's gone from the thinking around, okay, I can help people on my doorstep, to actually what I have is way bigger than that. And actually, Krishna believes that millions of employees are waking up stressed, anxious, and burned out every single day, which is completely killing their focus, their productivity. It's killing ultimately them. It's killing the business, because if they're not productive and they're not focused, then how can that business possibly grow? So the businesses they're working for are also starting to shrink. But Krishna knows it doesn't have to be this way. How many of you have ever been an employee that has felt like I just said, like crushed, productivity just going down the drain, absolutely shattered, tired, maybe committing everything to the job and not having a life outside of the business that you're working for? How many of you have been there? Well, it doesn't have to be this way, and Krishna knows this for sure. So ladies and gentlemen, Ripple Makers, give us a hashtag Krishna in the chat. Welcome our amazing Krishna to the stage. Krishna!
Hello, thank you, Sammy, and thank you very much for, I'm blushing now, for that lovely introduction. Gosh, I feel like I've gone all red. Thank you.
Well, Krish, welcome. Thank you for dropping in to be with us today. I know how busy you are, and in fact, just before we had a right little RippleFest of our own backstage. It was like Nadine shared some amazing news, and then Krish said, "I've got some amazing news as well." You know, it's so gorgeous to be a part of that, to be celebrating the wins. Like, we cry together, we celebrate together, we do overwhelm together, and we all get through it because we've got each other. And Krish, I know there's been times since you started your business where you've had some of those oh fuck moments. So Krish, first of all, tell everybody that doesn't know about you, tell us, what do you do and why do you do it? And then we'll dive into some of your business lessons.
Absolutely. So I have recently founded my company, Unshakable Resilience, and essentially I train leaders and take them from stress to success. Stress is, I believe, the global pandemic that we are all experiencing. And like you said very rightly, it affects our productivity, our ability to make clear decisions, and affecting the business results. So essentially what I do is I've created an Unshakable Resilience program that enables the cultivation of resilience, so that people do not have to burn out and burn the candles from both ends.
Yeah, and then that's a big pandemic, as you say, isn't it? I mean, we heard when Jackie Brennan was talking in one of our previous RippleFests about the construction industry and how people just don't talk about it because it's seen as a weakness to not be resilient. And you've really taken that word and you're saying, I want to own that word in everybody's mind. In the corporate world, when they think of resilience, I want them to think Krishna. So as you are building this, because this is fairly new to you, but you've also got a property business, so being in business isn't a new thing to you, but what you're doing now is really following your passion and following your heart. which is not necessarily where the money is straight away. And that's been a big thing, isn't it? Because you've been used to making money in one business, and now this business is like, but this is my heart-centered business. This is where I'm really going out and I'm building a movement more than I'm just doing this to make money. Tell us a bit about, they're two very different businesses. So how do you, for those people that are watching that also have two totally different businesses, how do you manage that in your mind? How do you stay resilient around that?
So I think the number one thing is about becoming very, very true to our own self and understanding the values that we have that drive our behaviors. Whatever we do for a particular reason, right? So it's really important to have a clear understanding of the values and why. Having that strong why of why we want to do what we do, it gives us the motivation, but also it sees us through the tough times. And believe you me, I have roller coaster moments every day, and you've seen that, right, Sammy? So, throughout my journey, my motivation for property was that I have a very high need for autonomy. And so having spent over 16 years working for large corporates, I had specialized in leadership, coaching, resilience, but I realized that I'm the type of person that needs to be able to have a lot of freedom in the way that I work, the way that I approach work. I want to be able to have, I don't like saying work-life balance. I like saying work-life integration, because I really believe it is that. It's very integrated, the work that I do, to my home life as well. And I like it. I also like working in a very agile way. So I want to be able to get on the plane and sit on a beach, and I want to work. So that's my vision, and that's what I do. And so I think it's really important to have a very strong why, understand why we want to do something, and then having that conviction and that courage. And it doesn't always happen overnight, but I think the more clear we are and the more crystallized our vision is, I think it just becomes a lot more easier. For me, it's about having a purpose, having an impact, and making a contribution to something bigger than who I am. And that's really what drives me. The money is absolutely not overnight, but I know that the work that I do is very much needed in the workplace. It's needed everywhere, because stress is killing us. If we have a look at some of the research that's been published by Deloitte, it's costing employers up to £42 billion. So it's very necessary that we prioritize our mental health and well-being, because without our health, and we've been there, right? We've both had burnout, and many people that are watching right now can again relate. It kills us, it kills us. It really robs us from our own spirit. And I don't believe that life is about surviving. I think it's about thriving.
I love what you just said there. Is so true. It is a spirit diminisher, isn't it? It robs you. It's a joy thief. There you go. It's a joy thief. And it takes so long to bounce back as well. And I think that when you experience burnout, how many of you have experienced burnout? Give us a hashtag burnout if you've experienced burnout before. When you experience burnout, like real burnout, I mean, fortunately, I wasn't medically burned out, but I experienced the beginnings of burnout. And I would say that it's taken me a good 10 years to get over that. And I wasn't medically burned out. Well, not officially on paper anyway. So just imagine the amount of people, not just in somebody else's business as an employee, but remember, guys and girls, that when you are a business owner, you are not your business, and your business isn't you. So therefore, you are an employee of your business. So how many of you are your worst freaking boss? How many of you left a company and now work for an even worse slave driver than you did before? Right? Because I know that that's definitely true for me when I built my business. And so, Krish, I think you've got your mission is expanding and getting bigger and bigger all the time. And I know that mental health, and you very much look after yourself. In fact, we actually met at a Basket Brigade charity event when I was passing potatoes to you, and you were packing them, and we were taking them out to the homeless at Christmas, which just goes to show that the more you make in your business, the easier it is for you to leave your business so that you can go and do those charitable things. And I know that's a big thing for you. That's a big deal, is showing up and building something that enables you to pay it forward. Krish, you know, what's been one of those hardest times in your business then, one of your biggest business lessons that you could impart to all of us this evening that we can learn from?
Absolutely. So I would say that the biggest revelation, and I would say the journey that I've taken within myself, is that, see, when we have a business idea, I would like to say that we're birthing that. And that takes a level of time, okay? It's that we have to evolve as entrepreneurs, as CEOs of our business. And of course, we don't have all of the answers. I don't think anybody does, right? So for me, it's about understanding that rather than being focused on the outcome, really being focused on the process, because it's us becoming what we need to in order for us to be able to elevate our own selves so that we can deliver and execute in the most productive way as possible. So when I first joined your One Drop movement, you know, I was very much about when is this going to happen, very focused on the outcome. And yet there are so many different components to business, that there are so many moving parts to it. There are obstacles along every inch of my journey, and every day I come across those obstacles, and then I get deflated, and then something good happens and I get inflated, and it's all of that. It's that whole dance. But the biggest thing for me, and I think that a lot of people who are watching will relate to, is it isn't the outcome, it's the process. And in the process, you get to decide how you show up, and you get to decide how you express who you are. So for me, I have literally shifted that, that I don't want to be chasing happiness. I want to be the expression of happiness. And what does that actually do for me is that it alleviates the pressure in my mind. And it's not easy because, of course, you don't have money coming in straight away, and you don't have yet bills are coming in straight away, but the money is not coming, and you're almost kind of like, well, when's the money going to come? I'm trying all these things, but I always feel that it's the process. And quite often in society, wherever we look at other people, we see how great they're doing, and it can dampen our own enthusiasm. So being the expression of what you want to become is really the essence. And what you do as a result of that is you're living and breathing your values. So when you tomorrow decide to become this multi-million pound company or this expanded organization, that will ripple into something a lot bigger, because you're so congruent to your own values and how you show up. So I'm very much in that space now. And every time I feel like I'm deviating from that, I have to go back to that anchor and say, well, how am I showing up today? And am I really happy doing what I'm doing? So yeah, that's been my big shift.
Yeah, amazing. I've seen that shift. I've seen that shift. Yeah. You are a very different energy. You're a very different energy to work with and to be around, which is a much more enjoyable energy.
Yes.
I think, what we can do, and I've done this myself, and you join a program and it's like, need to get the result really quickly. And like, you get in there and you soak everything up, and you almost get overwhelmed because you're trying to do too much too quickly. Mm-hmm. And as I say to people, like, we don't want to fill an ocean in one go, right? It's one drop at a time. You might end up filling your ocean really, really quickly, and then looking at your ocean and going, I didn't want to build that ocean. I didn't want that ocean there. I wanted it over there. It's like building a house and then saying, oh, actually, I've built something and now I want to move the windows. It becomes much harder to do. So it's, as I love what you're saying, is it's the process, it's the journey, and enjoy the journey and take your time over the journey, because actually when we slow down, we speed up, and we take that foundational time, which enables you to grow very quickly. Just as an analogy for those of you that are tuning in, have you ever driven, like I have, you've driven past a building site, and you look at the building site and it never looks like it's going anywhere. It was all just rubble and luminous cones and workers with the luminous jackets on, and they all just seem to always be doing something but nothing. You can't see anything, and you drive past it or you walk past it every single day for months, and then all of a sudden one day you drive and there it is. You've got like the Shard or something that's like right in front of you, and you think, wow, where did that come from? But that's because the foundation takes time. But once you have the foundation, it's very quick. It's a very quick process then to build and scale when you've got the right platform to be able to just grow it. So Krish, I really am so proud of you for recognizing that in yourself, for actually slowing down to be able to speed up. And you know, like just you sharing your win before we came on here was just absolutely phenomenal. Thank you for allowing us on your journey and for joining us and for coming and sharing that beautiful share tonight. Krish, how can people get in contact with you? Well, obviously, other than clicking on the members tab at the top of the One Drop Facebook group, how else can they get in contact with you?
So email would be the best option, and it's krishna@unshakableresilience.co.uk. So again, if you put that email address on the link below the video, then people can find me, they can contact me, and I would welcome an informal conversation.
Amazing, amazing. So if you know a company that is looking at putting in place a wellness plan, or you can see that the company is struggling a little bit, that they really need Krish to come in and have a conversation with them. So Krish, thank you so much. Guys and girls, give it up for the amazing Krishna.
Thank you.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. We are going to move on. My goodness, we've got so much to get through in so little time. We are now going to bring on the conscious creator, the amazing Nadine Lewis. Nadine is an international speaker. She's a spirit-led pioneer, which I absolutely love about this amazing woman. She's the founder of the Conscious Living Movement, which is an amazing global movement where she's on a mission to support over 10,000 people through their conscious awakening. Guys and girls, give it up for the amazing Nadine Lewis. Nadine, come on down.
Hello.
Hello, my darling. My goodness. Well, let's jump in for a conscious conversation. I think that's your favorite class conversation, isn't it? It's definitely mine. Guys, if you love a conscious conversation, give us a hashtag conscious conversation in the comments there. Nadine, there's so many amazing things about you. I wish we had more time to be able to dive into them. You and I are on WhatsApp literally every day, like messaging each other about all the fabulous things that are happening in your life. You've only been a member for just over a week, and yet like I feel like I've known you so much longer. For those that don't know you, please share, like, who are you, what do you do, and why do you love doing it so much?
Okay, well, I'm very happy to be here. Thank you so much. So yeah, Nadine Lewis, as we know, conscious living. I basically did that in 2003, and I never really birthed it. I started living it, right? I just realized that was my journey. So I went on a fast sort of, have you heard of the book Eat, Pray, Love?
I have.
Yes. Well,
oh my gosh, and watch the movie, goodness, how many times.
I'm not Julia, but I did do a fast, pray, love. So I was kind of just doing this thing and going through all this. What I realized now was a conscious awakening. So I'm helping people. There's so many people in the world right now, I feel, who are struggling. They feel lost. They feel confused. They're starting to have this awakening. You know, they're getting into understanding. They're getting conscious of the unconscious and what's going on in their world. And they're not really sure how to navigate and those feelings. So I'm working out programs. I'm not working them, I'm building them, I'm creating them. And there's some that I've had for quite a long time that I'm going to be, because as you know, I'm building this now, sharing with people. And I'm also looking for other coaches and creators and all these sort of people to bring them together. Because as you know, as you're building a movement, it takes like a village to bring up a child. So it's this whole thing. I think the world needs us now to show up, shine brightly. And as you can tell, I'm just so passionate about where we're all going with this. And I think all of us have to stand up now. I was hiding down a dirt track in the middle of nowhere in Portugal with fires and flooding and all this stuff. And the universe was shaking me saying, Nadine, just bloody move. And I wouldn't, because I was scared and I was afraid. And I was perhaps scared of rejection and all these things. So, you know, as healers, whatever coaches, I think we just need to work together, stand together, shine our light, because the world really does need us now. There's a lot going on, and it's our time, and there's a calling. And yeah, as you can see, I'm so passionate about it, so passionate.
Oh, it's one of the things I love about you, because when you're passionate about it, everybody else gets passionate about it. And especially for those of you that are building a global movement, put in the comments there, global movement, if you're building a global movement. And Nadine, for you, I remember when you first joined Ripple Makers last week, it was like, well, what are you building and who are you building it for? And it was like this purpose and this passion had been there all along, and you'd even kind of birthed it as well, and it was just sat there like this baby screaming like, Mom, grow me, right? Yeah. And isn't that all like true? A lot of the time it's like going shopping, isn't it? And you go in the shop and you see the dress you want, and then you go into all these others, and then you go back to the first shop. You've come back home to your original purpose. And I think that's true for a lot of people. They go off and then they come home. I've done it. I'm back home. But I think it's healthy for us to explore, because now you've got contrast. You know what you want and you know what you don't want. But I mean, you've had some big lessons along the way that have led you to the point of pretty much the universe dragging everything away from you. So there's nothing left other than, this is the way, you've got to go this way. What is one of the biggest lessons that you've learned on this journey that we can learn from?
Well, I heard a story a long time ago about a monk, and he was, one of these purist monks, and he went off and he started drinking and smoking and sleeping with prostitutes and doing all this stuff. And the other, I know, but not saying that, but the monk came back, and they were like, oh my God, what were you doing? Why did you go off like that? What was happening? And he's like, well, how could I know what other people are going through if I haven't experienced it myself? And I realize now that is what sometimes happens to us, and we think, oh, we're off track, but actually no, we're on track. We're completely on the path, but we get in our head, and actually we need to be in our heart and just trust the process, and we're in the right place at the right time, doing the right things with the right people. Yeah, I think that's I went off, but actually I was in lane, as you say. What is it you say? Stay in lane.
Stay in lane.
Wasn't aware.
I think that's a powerful lesson, actually, isn't it? Because we feel like, oh fuck, I've just spent the last year of my life going completely off track, or the last 10 years of my life, depending
on decades as well.
Right. And then you go, actually, it was meant to be all along. And when you realize that, and take us through a little bit of the conscious process, because you've got conscious living, you've got conscious health, there's all these different conscious wealth, there's all these different areas that you focus on. So what would you say, Nadine, is like the very first, like if we're having a calling or an awakening, how would we recognize that?
I think one of the things is that things are falling away from us. So life is changing. People are no longer. One of the biggest ones right now for people that I've heard is people can't drink anymore. People are finding that they actually don't want to drink alcohol. No, but it's things like toxins. You're starting to be sensitive as a collective. We're getting more sensitive.
Wow. Allergies and things like allergies.
That. Yeah, our emotions are coming up more, we're crying more, we're realizing that we can't watch the news or whatever so much. And there's this, for a conscious awakening, there's like a whisper. There's a whisper of something needs to change, and you kind of know it. It's just a tiny little voice whispering away, tap, tap, tapping. And I think when you get to that point, there's no going back, and you can only go forward. And that's when people need to get help and guidance from all these wonderful people you've got in your movement as well. Just go and seek help, because together we can do so much. I think that is the real thing is
I love that. Because it is individually, we're one drop together with the ocean. In fact, that's one of the things that really calls us together, because you talk about the ripple effect, I talk about the ripple effect. And I think that's a really good example of collaboration as well, because it's easy to look at someone and go, oh, they're using the same language as me, or they're talking about the same thing, we clash. And actually you and I couldn't do things more differently in the way that we do them, but we're so aligned in the values and the way that we go out there and want to make that difference in the world, and collectively make a difference on more people. So Nadine, tell us about, like, if you could go back and do it all over again, what's one thing that you would do differently?
Go back and do What, this whole life?
Oh gosh, we might be here for a while. Not saying you're old or anything, but I definitely am.
What did you
No,
say?
business, in your business, because
In my
you've actually
business.
had you've had like a leisure type business. You've had other business things that you've done, that you've got experience in, and you've come back to this. So out of all the things that you have done in business, what one thing, like if you could do it all over again, you'd do it differently?
What would I do differently? I think I would, what would I do? That's a really, really good question. What would I do differently? I think I would, oh, I would definitely not be like the whole cog in the wheel. I would have more delegation, so I didn't go into burnout. I think I was just going through all the patterns of what's happened, that actually I wanted to be a little bit, not that I'm controlling, but kind of like, oh no, it's my baby, and that's why I'm so open about everything now, because I realize I've got that thing that actually, you know, maybe you're the cog, but you have to be you have to have an exit plan, and you also have to you just have to not be the main person. If you drop down and you get illness, I was very ill when I was doing the eco retreat, and it was almost like, I think someone actually wrote in a review, like that's where I was going back then, that Nadine wasn't around. It was like the ship without the, what do you call it, not the what do you call it, not the ship without the,
A ship without a sail, ship without a captain,
yeah, whatever, something like that.
boat without a wheel.
Yeah, so I was
Guys and girls, help us.
But an udder, a cow. But I was, that's what I was going to think, not an udder. Didn't mean that at all. But yeah,
You get the point.
yeah. That's good. That's a good thing.
No, but that's very true, very true. And if that came up as a situation in your business now, how would you handle that differently then? Would you catch it faster? What would be the first sign you'd recognize for all of our people at home that might navigate something like this?
Well, for me, I'm starting off as day one as this intention, as I keep saying, you know, together we can do so much. That's my mantra. Together we can do so much. And I've actually got my focus. So if you hadn't got that focus, you haven't had that experience, what would be the signs? I guess if your energy, if you're not aligned, if you start your battery, we need to recharge ourselves, and we need to notice our energy levels and our vibration, because we've got to keep in a high vibration aligned. That's because, you know, you can't do, one person can't do everything. So we need to delegate. We need to be in a team. We need to be in our tribe. We need to find our tribe. I think that's why you've said I've been here a week. Well, I've got my tribe now. I feel like I've got that to bounce off. And I think we all have to find our tribe. No tribe is any better than anyone else. It's just your tribe. The people who understand you, the people you can, you're vibrating, or you've got a synergy with, like you said that you and I have. We were speaking the same language from the beginning. It's the same sort of thing. Both of us, decades of sort of burning out. You know, it's kind of that really, and just to be aware. You know, when I used to do feng shui, be aware of the energy in the home. Be aware, like use your body as a barometer, and really be conscious of where is my energy going right now. And, you know, what can I do? Just be conscious. That's my whole thing. It's all about being conscious and aware of what's going on in your body, and who you need to hang out with, who you need to be with.
Yeah,
I think
find your tribe. I think that's a big lesson, isn't it? I really love that. Nadine, thank you so much for coming and dropping in with us this evening.
I hope I wasn't shouting. I shout when I get passionate. I'm so sorry.
Don't ever apologize for shouting. I'll put my earplugs in if you talk too loudly. It's not up to you to decide how loud you speak. Just always speak loudly, brightly, and however you want to shine, you fucking do it.
That's it.
Guys and girls, give it up for the amazing Nadine. Nadine, how can people find it? Obviously they can go to the members tab in the One Drop Movement group, but how else can we connect with you?
You can just go to my website, NadineLewis.com, but there's a hyphen, Nadine-Lewis.com. Thank you so much. Thank you. Lovely.
Perfect. And we wish you well on your one drop journey. We've got 12 whole months together to really
Bring it on. Love it.
freaking hell. I mean, if you can imagine what you've achieved in a week, what is next year going to look like?
Oh, I imagine it every minute, don't worry.
I love it. I love working with you so much. It's amazing. Guys and girls, give it up for Nadine. She is an amazing ripple maker. Watch this space. We are going to move on to our third and final amazing ripple maker this evening. I have known this young man for, it must be about 13 or 14 years now. I was at the beginning stages of building my business when I very first met this guy. And we clicked instantly. We were at a massive event. We clicked instantly and we just kept in touch over the years. And he's become a really big focus, big part of the Ripple Makers Mastermind. Grant was one of our founding members of Ripple Makers. And we've gone on to do so much together. We've published a book together. We've published the Ripple Makers podcast together, so you'll hear Grant's voice, you'll see both of us on the podcast and hear both of us on the podcast. We've interviewed some amazing Ripple Makers all around the world, and the reason why I reached out to Grant to say, hey, look, I want to run this podcast together, because Grant is fast becoming one of the most sought after thought leaders in the arena of world-class human communication. He's an international speaker. He's had his own shows. He's a very public figure. He's a transformation expert. He's a certified trainer in NLP, hypnotherapy. He's an author, radio show presenter, an entrepreneur. I don't think there's many things that this amazing guy does not do. And on top of all of that, he's my dear friend as well. So guys and girls, give it up for Grant Murrell.
Thank you, Sammy. Thank you.
Grant.
Wow.
I feel so privileged. You're like, I don't know, there's a minute of your day that isn't spent serving someone in some way. I mean, like, how you don't lose your voice. You speak more than I do.
I don't know, Sammy, but I mean, we're all very busy doing these things, but it's a privilege, and thanks for inviting me on here. Really, it's always an honor and it's always a privilege. And I don't think there's a day that goes by when I don't actually thank myself or correct myself. This afternoon, I was in the bank and the woman was saying, oh, it's a bad day. How about you? I said, yeah, really busy. I said, but hang on, I'm extremely grateful. It's really, really nice. And it's absolutely a privilege and an honor to do what we do.
Oh, isn't it just? Isn't it just? And we get to choose to do it. And how amazing is that we get to choose to do it. Now, Grant, for those people that don't know you and they haven't heard you on the show or read you in the books, and they're, like they've been under a rock. Tell everybody, like, who are you? What do you do? And why do you love doing it so much?
All right, thanks, Sammy. Okay, so for those who don't know me, my name is Grant Murrell. I'm an international speaker, coach, trainer, and an international best-selling author, thanks to RippleFEST. And over the last 19 years, very nearly 20 years, over the last 19 years, myself and my international team have helped thousands of entrepreneurs, business owners, and organizations across 15 countries. We've helped them to increase their profits by up to 200%, often in just a few short months. By really working with their team, and everybody does have a team, their systems, their mindset, and their strategy, so that really they can live a life of passion, purpose, and freedom, and develop a business and a lifestyle that can become a legacy for generations to come. But I am really a man with a vision, and I am building a global movement of 1 million leaders to take them to live life without limits by helping them to clearly communicate their message with the world. That's why I'm here, and that's what I do.
I love it. And Grant, you're really doing that. You know what is so fun? Guess what's so fun for me tonight, Grant?
Tell me what's fun.
What's so fun is that usually it's you asking this question, and tonight it's me. I get to ask this question. Grant Murrell.
All right.
What has been your biggest oh fuck moment in business?
My biggest oh fuck moment in business. Well, that was a great one. And that I had it twice. The same thing hit me twice. So it's in the middle, in business, you always got ups and downs, and we always talk about it. People always see someone when they're successful, but they've never seen what's happened on the way. So when it was all on the way, and everything was going crazy, I was on a workshop once You'll know the one. It was a very interactive workshop where you play games, right? Right. And we're playing that one, and it's weird and wacky stuff. It's all going on. There's mayhem everywhere. And I'm used by this time of getting out of my comfort zone. But boy, oh boy, does this one get you way beyond your comfort zone. And there's a game you're playing when you're in a team, and there's chaos going on around, there's noise, and you have to go to this pretend person and ask to borrow money from the government to fund the project, right? And it's mayhem, and the person's acting extremely arrogant on purpose and saying, I'm very hungry. I can't think when I'm hungry. So you run out and you buy them food, and you really do this, right? You buy them food and you come back and say, well, I'm going to eat my food. You go and sit over there on your hands and knees and come back and pitch me in a moment. And you do all this. And I go along, and we had agreed in the team that we're going to make this proposal. And said, why should I give you money? Oh, because we're going to do this. We're going to help the community. We're going to do this. And the whole idea was there. And he said, how much money do you want? And I said, we need £30,000. That's okay. So why is it again? And I told him, he said, okay. And he gives us pretend £30,000. And I was smiling. I've achieved it. And I got away and I walked away. He said, and as I walked away, he said, Grant, she said, one question. He said, is that all you wanted? And I said, well, yeah, the £30,000, right? He said, okay. You didn't want any more then? I said, well, yes, because I've got lots more money to give away. And he said, I can have some more money. He said, no, too late. Bank's closed. Forget it. I said, no. He said, no, doors are closed. Forget it. He said, I just wondered if you wanted more money because I've got a lot more to give you. And I said, okay. I said, go on, off you go. Go on, screw you, off you go. And I had to walk off. And as I did, he said, Grant, she said, just one more question. So one more question. And I turned around in the middle of all this chaos and looked at him and said, where else in your life are you not playing full out? And it was like somebody kicked me in the stomach. And I went,
I'd say that was a big oh fuck.
And he said, whoa, what happened there? Because he saw my face. He said, did that mean something to you? And I went, oh my God. And I looked at him for about a minute. I was speechless. And then I just said, thank you. Thank you. That's why I came here. Thank you. And would you believe, about a year later, I was being coached. And this was ruminating. I was being coached. And in the middle, and this is, I do the same thing with people now. And I was in the middle of being coached. And as I was, the person just said, da, 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 da. And it just said, are you living up to your full potential? I went, he went, whoa, what just happened? And I said, that question again. And he said, I bet you've never been asked that before. I said, well, actually, yeah, I have. And I've actually asked myself, because you know me, Sammy, I'm Mr. Questions. Right? I've asked myself that question, but it's not the same when you ask it. When someone else is watching you and at the right moment, bang, they drop that message in, that question. And I just went, uh-oh. And that changed everything.
Wow. Are you living up to your full potential?
And I wasn't. And that changed everything because I realized I wasn't. And I thought, to hell.
Well, did you think at that time, though, that you were? I mean, because here's the thing that I see a lot is that we have a downer on ourselves and we go, oh, I'm not living life to my full potential. And then there's somebody who's behind you that's going, I wish I could be like Grant.
Oh, yeah.
I wish I could be like Nadine. I wish I could be like, Krishna and all the people. And it's so easy for you to go, oh, I'm nowhere near where I want to be. And this is where and so we're always, I think we're very hard on ourselves. I think we always see that we're like this with our potential and someone else is going, oh my God, you're up there. But did you think that actually I'm playing quite big, but fuck, there's so much further I could go? Or did you think to yourself, I'm nowhere near where I want to be? Like, what was the gap?
Yeah, I mean, that's a brilliant question, Sammy, because I mean, what I was doing is what I see in other people all the time now, all the time. The problem is having a bit of success. That is the biggest problem ever, because I see people get a bit of success, and I was having a bit of success. And that's the problem. I watch other people now have a bit of success, and when they do, they're like, yeah, done it. I've made it. And they're like, this is great. it's not until you turn around the corner, and not that you should measure yourself against other people, but I've always watched this because, you know, I watch people successful. What I say is, if you're, let's use financial terms because it's a very easy one to explain, but there's many ways to be successful. There's people, and if you know a self-employed electrician and all your friends are self-employed electricians, you will look at a self-employed electrician and see the one who's doing well, and I wish I was like that guy, he's doing well. If that self-employed electrician, he looks at someone who's got a group of electricians working for him and says, wish I was like that guy. Then that person looks at someone who's got an international group of electricians and says, wish I was like that guy. That guy looks at a guy who's got a group of companies of plumbers, electricians, web designers, and says, oh, I wish I was that guy. And that guy, it's just a question of lifting that visor and looking. You know, when you drive, you're taught to drive not to look at the car in front, but like 2 or 3 cars in front. You lift the visor and look further down the road. It's that kind of thing. When most people get a bit of success, they stop looking and they think they've made it. And if that is what you was looking for, then congratulations, that's fantastic. But most of the time it isn't. We just give up. And you think you're not measuring it against anything else. You're like, this is the best I've ever known, so this is it. And that's fine. But is that always going to be fine? Or are you not living up to your full potential? That's the question.
Whew, I think we need a hashtag holy fuckadoodles. Hashtag brain flying out my ears. I think each and every one of us is so hard on ourselves, but also we do limit ourselves. We put limits on ourselves based on who we're influenced by, and also those that we look at and we measure ourselves by them, and then we shrink back and say, well, there's already someone in the world that's doing that, so why me? Why not you? Why not you? Grant, what would you say? You know, we have a community of mostly startup entrepreneurs and just getting, you know, growing. And for many of our entrepreneurs that are in this community, they've already done something. But like Nadine, you know, built business. I'd built businesses. And then when I launched One Drop Movement, I was starting all over again. So you could effectively call me a startup business, even though I'm nowhere near a startup, you know, in my mind and history and experience. What would you say for those entrepreneurs that are just starting, getting involved in the Ripple Makers Mastermind? What advice would you give to them?
Thanks, Sammy. Well, my advice to you guys would be fantastic that you're here, because you're in a great supportive environment with tons and tons of information. I've said it once, I'll say it 1,000 times. I have never known anyone to generate genuine, good quality content like Sammy. You are a creation machine. Everything you want will be here. And I mean that. You've heard me say this about you countless times, Sammy, because it's the truth. And I can't say that about many people. And it amazes me. So it's all here. Plug in, utilize it, because it's brilliant. And the supportive environment. Get held accountable, get stuck in. Please don't worry about perfection, please, because if you wait to be perfect, it will be out of date. Okay, so don't worry about that. Version 1's better than version none. Just get going. You learn so much by doing it, and do it with your passion, your enthusiasm. Get involved with something you love, because when the going gets a bit tough, you'll carry on if you love it, but you'll give up if you don't. So do something you love. It's a great journey, supportive environment, get held accountable. And my biggest thing, if I had to do it all over again, of course, I'm a coach, and as a coach, you get coached. I've got several coaches, of course. Biggest mistake, I didn't get coached soon enough. Get coached as soon as you can. Spend as much money as you can on the coach you resonate with, to get you to where you want to get to. That doesn't always mean a comfortable journey. It doesn't have to be an uncomfortable journey, but one who's going to love you, but push you and not let you get away with that BS, and hold you accountable to the life you said you want to have. And it'll be a lovely journey, and you'll grow. You'll get there faster. You'll make more money. You'll have more success. You'll be able to help yourself and create more of a ripple by helping other people quicker in a better way. That's it in a nutshell.
Amazing. I drink to that. I'll give you a cheers. Give us a hashtag cheers if you'll drink to that. You know, I just think it's so important what you just said there. And I want you to repeat, because you said it and I was like, oh, I must get back and quote that. And then you said so many other brilliant things that then I'm like, oh shit, what did you say? You said something like launching one is better than none or something. What was that?
You can ask me what I just said. Actually, I do remember that thing. Version 1 is better than version none.
Yes, that's the one. Give us a hashtag version 1 is better than hashtag version none. Yeah. That's beautiful. Grant, thank you so much. I know how busy you are. I really appreciate you dropping in with us as part of the One Drop movement. And I mean, you're such a champion of our members and just the most amazing support. And guys and girls, you know, this guy, he supports and coaches influencers. So if you're an influencer and you want to get out there and there's something that's a sticking point for you, it's just there's something that's hindering you or holding you back, this is your go-to guy to get that shit out of the way and keep moving forward. Because if you're not dropping it forward, then you're not making a ripple. And if you're not making a ripple, you can't create a wave. If you don't create a wave, then you ain't creating a legacy. You're going to die with that song inside of you. And I want to hear your fucking music. And the world wants to hear it as well. So Grant, if anyone wants to contact you and reach out, again, they can go up to the members tab at the top of the One Drop Movement group and find you that way. And is there another way that they can connect with you directly?
Yeah, absolutely. Go to contactgrant.me and it's all there. That's it.
Contactgrant.me. We love it. It's almost like you've been branded.
Yeah, I wonder how that happened, Sammy.
I wonder how that happened. Grant, thank you so much. I love you. I love that we get to continue making ripples together and creating waves all over the world. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for the amazing Grant Murrell.
Thank you. And Sammy, the pleasure as always is mine. Thank you for inviting me on. I love it. It's a pleasure and an honor. And I'm always reminded how grateful I am to be doing what we're doing. Thank you, Sammy. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And if you haven't booked to be on the Ripple Makers podcast, we're going to start opening slots again. We did a massive all in where we recorded about 50 episodes in a very short period of time, and I've been leaking them out, and we're almost ready to start opening up those slots again. So if you'd like to be on the Ripple Makers stage, you'd like to be interviewed and get your voice out to all of our followers, then please reach out to me. Connect personally, drop me a message on Facebook Messenger. I'm Sammy One Drop Blindell on Facebook, so find me, send me a message, say I'd love to be interviewed on the podcast, and we'll make sure that you get a slot. Now, we are at the end of day 2 of RippleFest. Have you enjoyed yourself? Did you get some good light bulb moments? What were some of your favorite takeaway moments that you've got tonight? Because tomorrow it's our 3rd and final day, and we've got 3 more fantastic Ripple Makers to end our July RippleFest Summit. We're going to be back tomorrow, same time, same place, with the amazing Deborah Morrison. We've got Sue Bailey and Norma Sherwin, 3 incredible change makers that said yes to their purpose, and they are moving forward. And you, my friends, are going to learn from them tomorrow evening. So take care. Have a wonderful day, evening, morning, whatever time it is for you in the world, wherever you're watching from. I bid you good evening from my time. And I want to just thank you for giving yourself this time, making the commitment, making this hour of power available to yourself. And whether you're watching on the replay or you're tuning in live with us, I just want to let you know how much I freaking love doing life with you, how much I love making ripples with you, and that together, as our lovely Nadine said earlier, together we can create so much amazing consciousness in the world. The world needs your message. Let's get it out there. So I'll see you same time, same place tomorrow. Have a wonderful evening. Remember, keep inviting your friends in, and go to that tab at the top in the pinned post, the featured posts, and welcome them in so we can see how many of you are going to win some prizes. Take care. Mwah. I'll see you tomorrow.